Oh my God. Welcome everyone. Okay, so I tried to do a count in to the live and I don't even know how that happened. But welcome everyone. We're now live. I am coming to you with a hilariously I'm having a good time tonight. I was just listening to somebody rant on YouTube and it made me realize how amazing of a time we live in and how I love YouTube. Like I love streaming. I love, all the platforms to be honest with you. But it's something about YouTube. I'm just getting into Twitch. So I like Twitch too. I think that's a really fun place. But I love going live. I love this like environment that has been created where we can just watch each other. Like whatever you want to share, whenever you want to go live, you can go live and people can like, follow you. I think that's really dope. So anyway, I'm backing away from my microphone because I feel like my lighting isn't great. So I'm just gonna bring out another light, which is really just like a makeup mirror. Oh, not like that though. What? So I have a little mirror here that I use to do my makeup sometimes. Obviously not today, but I just felt like I needed a little more light. But anyway, welcome. As you can tell from the thumbnail and the description or the title, we're checking in with my 10-day stride check-in. Now, if you haven't been here following me, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about like what is happening over here, okay? Like my name is Faith. I'm a wife, a mom to like a young child. He's like one and some change. I've got a 9 to 5 job, just like so many of us. I'm doing this business on the side. I'm getting out of saying trying to, right? Trying to do my little business. Like I'm doing this, and you're gonna be along for the ride. So I'm building a little like digital business. I don't even want to say on the side because it's fully me. This is the thing that I can bring myself into fully, and I'm really excited about it. I love what I do for my day work. Like, I love the people I work with. I love all that stuff. I love like learning about more about what I'm doing, but this is like my passion because I'm really like a planner person. Like I love a good notebook, a good planner, a good pen. Okay, I'm that girl. I love analog systems and like breaking stuff down and like mind maps and actually I love spreadsheets too. But anyway, just trying to tell you who I am. I'm a sister, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a friend. I'm all here. I'm all here. I'm out here trying to do everything. And most of the time I just want to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Like, and so that's the reason why I kind of launched this form of a business because I felt like there is a need for people to understand that like we're not going to be able to do it all. I mean, we should strive to do what we want to do, but we have to make choices and there's trade-offs and there's you know, priorities you have to set for yourself. And it's not natural for us to be thinking that we're going to check all the boxes and get all the things done and everything's going to be perfect because that's just not real. So I'm like, let me be the person or one of the people out here telling the truth about that and just kind of like giving us some grace and reminding us that we need to give ourselves grace because we're not going to be able to do all the things that we feel like are required of us because a lot of them we didn't even make up. Like we just fell into this life of, needing to do things and needing to have things done already. And one thing that I've been recognizing, especially over the past couple of years, is that it's you're not going to be able to be 100% in every area all the time. It's just not a thing. Like, I don't know where we got that from, but a lot of us are out here feeling like we're failing and we're not. And we're not giving ourselves credit for the things that we're doing well. And so that's where I come in because um I love a good planner. I love a good like recap. I love a good, this is where we're headed, a strategy. I love a good, you know, just reminder that we're in it to win it and a pat on my back because I'm doing a good job, right? And not just like any kind of job, but it's like I want to see the proof that like, okay, I'm doing what I said I would do. And that's what we're here to do. So anyway, all right, that was a long rant. But I'm just out here trying to do what I'm supposed to do, live a good life, enjoy my days. Life is short. And yeah, we're trying to just make the best of it and enjoy the day that the Lord has made. Okay. So here's what we're doing here on this channel, right? We are following me on this journey. I have decided, I've set out in 2026 to do 3, like, how do I say this? Because I'm going to start using my own terminology and maybe everybody doesn't connect, but I'm going to do 3 sets of 100 days of me checking in every 10 days, right? And I'm going to give you some glossary words to to understand, but like I'm calling 100-day period a quest. And there's there's more than 300 days in a year, but I'm setting myself up on 100-day quest to say, okay, if I am who I say I am, if I'm striving to be who I want to be, then in the next 100 days I can check in every 10 days and see that I'm on track, or that I'm not and I need to change something, right? So and I call a 10-day period a stride. It's just like a 10-day stretch. So we're on stride 10. I've completed 100 days. I've done this in the past, to be honest with you. Like, I've been going by this terminology since like 2019. But I haven't done it publicly. But this year I decided, I'm going to show people what I'm doing. And so I'm on stride 10, which is a stride is a 10-day period. I'm on stride 10, which is 100 days going solid, checking in every 10 days on my goals. I come here, I tell you like how each area of my life is actually going and where my energy and resources are pointed and how I did based on like what I had set out to do in the last 10 days. So, and there's like a day or two lag. So the 100-day period actually ended on the 10th. So here's how you break it down. You can actually find this in the description. I have a freebie in the description. If you scroll down, you'll see that there's a 10B Tango, and I call it 10B Tango because it's 10 by 10 go. But you'll see on our Inject God website, which is affiliated with our podcast with me and my husband, when we are reading the Bible out loud. Not out loud, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway. You'll see if you click the link that you can follow along and you can download a free stride check-in chart so that if you want to follow along and check in every 10 days with me, I welcome you. I want to develop a whole community. But I'm just telling you, though, that it might not be on the 10th. It probably won't be on the 10th because I take a day to check in with myself, see where I landed, give myself some time to like personally like feel it, understand where I'm going, and then I come out and report to you. So we on a rhythm, but it's not anything rigid. I don't believe in anything like rigid, like, this is not what we're doing. So, okay, so today is the big check-in, and I'm going to actually do a follow-up video because I want to talk about what I experienced throughout the whole 100 days. But today, we're just on a stride check-in, so we're just talking about June 1st through June 10th. Today is June 12th, so we're a couple days. I'm already into my next stride, and I'm feeling good about it. But yeah, we're on day. We're talking about day. We're talking about stride 10, June 1 through 10th. I've gone on for a long time here, guys. Excuse me. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share my screen because I've recently. Normally, I'm all about the whole like analog system, but as I've been sharing it, I realize it's really good for me to do this with Claude and share it in a PDF style or like digitally, because then you can see it and I don't have to like show my desk and do that whole setup, which can be a couple extra steps. So anyway, let's walk through how stride 10 went. Oh, y'all, I'm so excited because you know what? It's all about getting started and getting some momentum behind us. That's what it's really about. So here we go. Stride 10. It's the final stride of quest 1. This closes the first 100-day quest. We ran it from March 1st all the way through June 10th. If you know a little bit about the story, I decided somewhere like near the midpoint of March, maybe it was like March 14th or something like that. I don't know why that sticks out to me, but like it was the midpoint of March where I decided I'm just gonna back start, right? Like I'm gonna count the first stride as March 1st, even though I hadn't started on March 1st. And that did a couple of amazing things for me because number one, it was like, okay, it gave me a clean line to get through the end of the year. Because if I would have started, at the point that I was thinking of, it would have taken me into 2027. And I really wanted to end in December of 2026 with three quests. 300-day periods, right? So what I did was I said, okay, well, I'm already in the middle of March, but I'm just going to say the first stride is already passed. That was helpful to me because then there was no way that I could be perfect. And one of the things that we tend to do in our human condition is that we're aiming for perfectionism, and we're like, okay, if I'm counting myself for 100 days and I want to have 100 days of success, and it's like that's not really probable. Like we're hoping for the best, but when I started on the in the mid-month, it occurred to me that like, well, it could never be perfect. You can never have 100 perfect days because you didn't even know when you started that you had started. So it worked out perfectly because I'm like, okay, well, I've already started with a deficit of perfect days. So now we're just going to try to do the best we have from here. And that's the whole point. So it worked out quite well. So anyway, my theme and intention for this stride was just to close out strong. We had experienced some adversity in our life in May. We have been doing our best. We have been really enjoying ourselves and our family and really taking things to heart and just being present in moments. And I knew that this was going to be last stride, and I said, let's close out strong, So I have these different areas, and I'm going to go through and I rated myself. And this has helped. Claude helped me do this, so I didn't do a whole bunch of stuff. I just spoken to Claude, and Claude helped me to sort of like rate myself and see where we are. So. But like I said, there's going to be trade-offs. So let's just go through these elements of what I have put forth as my, priorities for this season of my life. So let's just call them out. Faith and devotion, family care, environment and home, personal growth and learning, self-care, which also includes exercise, movement, what I'm eating, things like that. PIA stands for pride and appearance, y'all. I failed. Okay. But anyway, we're not talking about that right now. Content creation and finance and income management. So you can see kind of like some of the numbers that I came up with through this last 10 days. And I had to make some trade-offs because I had some goals that I really wanted to reach. And I don't even think they was motivated by like this being the last stride. I was just like, okay, I've been doing this for so long and I've been checking in and I want to do this. And so let me just say this. And like I said, it's going to be a part 2 of this where I just go over the entire quest of 100 days. I want to show y'all my notebook and how I used to write it in my notebook. It's not even used to. I'm going to continue to do that. But like, this is helpful to do it digitally here. But I want to show you how I've progressed over the last 100 days. But I'm not going to do that right now. We're just talking about the last 10 days. I just want to say that there are some trade-offs. You can't be everywhere all at once. It's just not, you're not built like that. You only have 2 hands. It's like, look, it is what it is. Claude helped me out here, did a stride average, which I didn't ask for, but thank you, Claude. I finished strongest, this is true, where I chose to push. I didn't mean to do this. Like I didn't set out to be like, oh, I'm going to focus on this and, whatever to everything else because I want to end the stride. I want to end the quest. Well, I didn't do that, but naturally, as a bonus of checking in every 10 days, you start to get a cadence of what you're doing well in and what you're stalling on. And in the past couple of strides, I really wanted to get this one thing done. And I had been working on it, but I hadn't closed the project out, and I was able to close it. I was able to get to the finish line, at least the first part of it. And I'm really proud of that. But it did require me to like ignore some other things that I normally, that I had been on top of previously. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. but I absorbed the trade-off in certain areas, but I did close out strong and I delivered in a place where I said I was going to deliver. So look, it's a win. It's a win, y'all. So, okay, let's go into the areas. So there's these areas I already called out. We're going to go through them one by one, and then we're going to go into the wins. We're going to go into the wins. We're going to go into the, opportunities for improvement and the frictions and all that good stuff. So, okay, here we go. Faith and devotion. Okay, so I feel like I'm a broken record sometimes where like I always try to like write out scripture from the Bible. I like to write out like the things that are, helping me get through my day. I always want to connect with God and make sure that I'm doing and that I'm living the word. So we have this thing we call Inject God. Me and my husband have a podcast called Is It Crazy or Is It God? And our brand has evolved into another arm where we say inject God, like inject God into your day. And one of my sort of like aims is that I want to write down the word. I want to focus on a scripture to get me through whatever, quadrant of the day, whatever I'm doing. I want to be focused on applying this word, right? And so that is something that I think I did well in this last 10 days. I had a couple of scriptures I was focused on. And just for my mental health, I was just writing them down in different places, notebooks, index cards. I was praying real hard, y'all, because we've been going through some stuff in our life in terms of like, losses in the family and, just regular life stuff. But like in the mornings, before my son wakes up, before I get out of bed, I just praying real hard. Like I just wake up and I'll be like, oh, thank God that I don't have to get up right this moment. And then I just start praying. And it brings me peace and calm. And it's just I just love that time where I just get to just pour my heart out to God, give him my anxieties and just call out to him and just think about scriptures and things like that. And sometimes things will come to me, thoughts, ideas will come to me that I didn't know would come to me at that time. But it's just kind of like this silent moment where I'm just giving all of my thoughts over to God. And one of the things that I do is I'll write something down on an index card and I'll actually lift it up over my head and be like, God, I just want you to, tell me if this is what you want me to do. And if it's not, focus me somewhere else because I don't want to be focused on something that you don't want me to focus on. So and I ask God to order my steps. That's one of the magical things about writing things down physically and not having it digital. You're not really going to hold your computer, screen or whatever up, but you can hold up an index card or a notebook and say, God, these are my prayers. Bless me, bless them, order my steps, right? So that's one thing that I did a few times last week and just praying in the bed before I got out of bed. And so I gave myself a 7 in that area. Because I felt like I was present and focused last week. But there's always room for improvement. Family care, this one slipped a little bit, y'all, since the last time I checked in, but that's okay because listen, we're all in this together. But I normally do my son's meal preps at the start of the week. I did not do that. And history has taught me that if I don't do it on a Sunday, it's probably not going to get done. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'll just do it on Monday. But then Monday happens. It's so fast. And then it's like whatever the drama of the day is at work or whatever is happening takes over and into the afternoon and evening. And then there was just, a lot happening. So I didn't ever even do his meal preps. Now, luckily I had done some in the previous week that kind of brought us through and he's getting all his nutrients and stuff that he needs. And I always have backups, but it didn't dawn on me until my mom had asked me later in the week, like, hey, what do you want me to feed him today? Because she comes and helps me. And I was like, oh, and I had just assumed like there's food in there, isn't there? But no, because I didn't prep any food. But he has been eating what we're eating, which is great. But it made me realize like, oh man, I never did his meal preps. And there's a couple things I didn't do. I didn't do laundry. I didn't do Meal preps I didn't do, even though my husband James did our meal preps. I didn't do my son's meal preps. So you know what? It's fine though, because he ate every day and he's fine. But certain things got sacrificed because I did reach a goal, and we could get into that in a second. So that kind of leans into environment at home. Um, my husband is such an amazing guy, and he got some things handled. But I wouldn't call this my championship moment with the home. But I will say this: we do have help, and things got done. So it's great. Like things got done. Everybody's just like doing whatever they can. It doesn't look a complete wreck in here, but I do realize that, like, okay, I kind of let that slip, and like maybe I can do some things to get back to a more comfortable place next time. But nothing is like detrimental. So yeah, environment and home, I really gave myself a 7, but I'm not giving myself a 7. I'm giving the team a 7. Like I didn't do this by myself. Okay, I did this with our team, with the team being our family. So I get a 7, but by way of the team showing up. Okay, on to personal growth and learning. I didn't do any structured like study. There's some books that I'm trying to read that I didn't even get into last week. But what I will say is I applied learning in real time. And when I went to go push in this one area, I looked up what I needed and I applied it right away. So I'll say personal growth and learning. That's why I gave myself a 7 here, because I didn't necessarily do what I was planning to do, but I did what needed to be done. Right. So it wasn't pre-planned, but it was like Johnny on the spot figuring it out, and it worked. So we're happy about that. Okay, here's where I failed, and then we're gonna go over where I won. Oh man, this is a tough one, guys. Look, um, self-care and pride in appearance. Okay, obviously you see me. I don't know if you can see it, but I have some conditioner in my hair. I did not do the best in self-care this week. I didn't do really any movement. We went for a walk like maybe once, and I did like a half a workout, but it wasn't, I can't even really call that a workout, to be honest with you. I was just trying some things out, but it was not nothing like that I could call a workout. So look, that's why I gave myself a 5. I wanted to I did deep condition my hair today, but now we're in a totally different stride, so I can't give myself credit for that. Last stride, I'm talking about between June 1st and 10th, okay? Because now we're on the witness stand. We're being accountable. I wanted to like do my hair. I wanted to like wash my makeup brushes, and I got some new makeup that I wanted to try out. I didn't get to none of that. In fact, there was at least one day, and it might have been 2, where I didn't even get to shower until the night because I was just like so putting all the projects first. And I just was like, oh my God, I gotta just get with the day. What I did do though is I prioritized my sleep, because there were a couple of times where I probably could have gotten up a little earlier, but I was like, look, if you have a small child, then you can relate to this. When they sleep, you sleep, because you can't really sleep when they're awake, especially not with this guy who's walking around and really running. It's like, look, you can't really take a nap while they're not taking a nap. So there were a couple of mornings where I decided, okay, this guy's still asleep. I'm going to sleep while I can, because we're going to be up all day. And so I definitely put that in front of some other things. But all in all, everybody's well. It was a conscious trade-off. I'm not neglecting anything long term. I just knew I took an L in that area. And like, honestly, this always sucks because but it's fine. Like when I don't feel like I look my best, it's like I get real timid and like I don't know if I'm doing my best, but I did just fine, okay? Because this brain is the star of the show, everyone. This brain is like working us through, honey. But next week in next stride, or this current stride, I'm gonna put more focus and attention into like how I feel about myself showing up. I'm gonna paint my nails. Like I said, I got conditioner on my hair right now. I'm gonna rinse that out. I'm gonna twist my hair. I'm gonna be all about all the things. Okay, everybody. So the next stride when we check in, actually I'm gonna do a few videos in between this stride check-in and the next, but you should be, seeing me doing a little better in that area. But it's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm still fine. Okay. So anyway, content creation. Here's where we're winning. I didn't actually create a lot of content in terms of like uploading, but I created strategies. I created digital products that are underlying to the success of my content creation. Because like one of the things that I don't appreciate, like, look, I love me a good rant, especially on YouTube. I was just watching this lady rant about a lot of things. I could tell she was triggered about something, but I love that, right? And that's kind of like what I do on some of my other ventures. But with this channel, I want to make sure I'm bringing value in terms of like, here's how we fix things. Like, here's what's working for me. And one of the things that I feel like propels me in that direction is the digital products that help me, that I use all the time, every day. And that's why, okay, even though this is not a sponsored thing, I do want to direct you to the description box where you can find some of the products that I currently like and have used for like the last, one of them I've been using for about 6 or 7 years. And it helps me track my time. But then there's another one that I really, really benefit from because I can see like my ideal day on the left, and then I can see all the days of the month and what I'm supposed to be doing. And like once you download the first version of it, you just, fill out your day for, you fill out your week, and then you copy and paste through all the other weeks. I do it bi-weekly so I can see like, okay, I have this meeting bi-weekly. I have this process that needs to be run every 2 weeks. I have these things happening. This is trash day. I need to look at my budget every day. These are my due dates. And once I have that, it's like I'm not starting over every day trying to figure out what do I need to get done today. It's like that's my starting point. I'm like, let me look at my Timby Tango map, and then let me start my day from there. So, okay, it's Thursday. That means I'm going to be doing this, this, and that. Or it's Tuesday, it's trash day. I gotta make sure this gets done, that gets done, this gets done, and then I can start from there and like look at my ideal day on the left side. So that has helped me, and the time tracker has helped me. That's why I'm directing you to the description box where you can find it. I'm mentioning all this because I created these products for sale and put them in my stand store last week, or this stride, and or the previous stride that we're going over right now. That was a huge thing for me because I have been thinking about doing that for so long. And now I feel like, okay, I'm offering something valuable now. Every time I create a video, I have an offer. And that's what all the gurus tell you should be doing. But also, I'm telling you that these are the things that have helped me be consistent. And so there were times where I felt like, oh man, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't be consistent. Like, that's my problem. Like, everybody says, oh, just be consistent. It's like, but I'm not able to achieve that. And these two things helped me. So that's why I created them. I had uglier versions of them, but last week I did the work to make them more like, visually appealing, but the function is there. I've been using this stuff for years. And so by way of that, even though I didn't create a bunch of content, I know that the creation of those digital products is going to help me to create better content because I'm getting ready to show you how I use these, and it's going to be such like a help to some people that they're going to be able to be like, oh my God, like this is what I needed. And so I know the content that's coming is going to be super like amazing for some. But anyway, and then obviously I have a YouTube channel. I'm not waiting on AdSense. I've built out the content strategy for the next couple weeks, and there's work, but I don't like to say like empty stuff. Like, we're just going to see, you're going to see how valuable it is. Right. So anyway, there's that. So I gave myself an 8 for content creation because I did the behind the scenes work. The last thing that we're checking in on in terms of like the areas of responsibility is finance and income management. Gave myself an 8 on that too, because honestly, the last thing that I mentioned about the digital download, that's a finance income stream that I built, that I finally got to the finish line where it's shipped and now it's available to people, and I'm going to include it in all of um, my description boxes from now on. But it's like a simple thing that I've been using for, that helped me for the last few years, or more than that. But it's like exactly what people need. So like this is going to help people, and it's going to also help me. But also, in addition to that, this isn't available to everyone, but I created another document that is going to help me see exactly what hits my cards and when. Because you know what I realized in the last probably month is that there's so many things that hit my credit card subscriptions that I don't even really pay attention to. And like, I'll get to the end of the month and be like, oh, I thought I paid that credit card down. And it'll be like, oh, but you didn't calculate in all these 6 subscriptions that are hitting this card. So it's just a reminder to you, please go and check your credit card statements and see what is coming out of your credit cards, because you think you're paying something down, and really like these subscriptions and these 14-day trials or whatever, they end and then they start hitting your card. And if you're like me and you just pay them because the due date is upon you and you don't look, then you're paying for things that, possibly you could be getting rid of. So I did do a simple spreadsheet for myself to see what is actually coming off of each card on, and when, and so that I could see like, am I actually using this thing, or is it just something that is hooked up and I'm just paying for it and I'm not even using it. So yeah, that helped me. So this is part of the reason why I'm getting an 8. Plus, quietly, I have been managing my spending, y'all. I love all the deals, and you know what's gonna really mess me up? It's Prime Day. It's coming. It's coming, y'all. Prime Day is coming towards the end of the month, and I'm just gonna have to like log out of everything, because I'm not trying to be going against my plans, but Prime Day be having me in a chokehold. Okay, anyway. So yeah, I've been doing really well on my spending. I marked out that sheet that's going to help me see where things are coming off of which cards, and that was a win. So I gave myself an 8 there. All right, now let's move into the wins and the frictions and all that stuff. The wins, I finally got my digital products online. We're good. Check the description box, y'all. You might change your life. I have an offer. That's amazing. I did my finance spreadsheet. I got my content strategy, and I finished my 100-day check-in quest. And I'm really excited about that. Now, I didn't show y'all all of the check-ins that I did, but I'm going to do a separate video tomorrow that goes over what I learned over the whole 100 days. But for the last like maybe 3 or 4, I've taken y'all along to show you like what I'm changing, what my experiments are, and all that stuff. But I'm gonna show you like how amazing this is when you hold yourself accountable and you check in every 10 days and you're like, did I do what I said I was gonna do? Why not? Is there anything I can change to be more successful at what I'm aiming to do? And then you do that, and it's top of mind. Chef's kiss. It's amazing. Okay, now the friction. Okay, so that was where the wins, right? We're gonna talk about the friction. I took an L on fitness and self-care. I'm gonna talk about this more when I do this 100-day, but I did get a lot of adversity and obstacle out of the way with it when it comes to fitness. But like self-care, y'all, in the last 10 days, I wasn't really focused on that. And I kind of felt a little weight of it, but I still got things done. But that's something that I'm going to be really highlighting in this current stride in the next 10 days. But I'm accountable. I'm not making excuses. I'm saying I deprioritize that, and it's fine. Like, I could make some excuses, but they won't even, chart. We've had a heat wave. There's been some things happening, but like I delivered where I needed to deliver, and I'm okay. But I do take accountability for the fact that like I didn't do what I wanted to do. But you're not going to be able to do everything all of the time, and that's actually what this is about. So that's why I'm saying I deprioritized. I didn't get that done in addition to the things that I did accomplish, and I'm okay with it because I did carry some things to the finish line that I have been trying to do for some time. An observation that I made is that when you're tracking your life like this, it makes you realize that like everything is not in shambles. There was a time where I would have considered this, I would kind of like scan my last few days or my last month or whatever and say, oh my God, you're failing in this area, in that area, in this area. And it's like almost like I'm looking for the fails, but I'm not giving myself appropriate like um celebration for the wins. And that's an observation I'm having after doing this process and seeing what I'm seeing after using the tools that are now available to you in my description box. But like when you decide that like, this is my priority and my focus belongs here, that's not failing, that's choosing. And that's what I have done. I'm so excited like to be at this point in my life where I'm like, yo, I can see the impact from like deciding where I want to focus and focusing there and having the takeaway of like a win and being like, yeah, wherever I didn't necessarily like win, I did that on purpose. Like, yeah, I knew that wasn't going to be my best work, but guess what? My best work was a result of me focusing over here. So the reframe is like the difference between like beating yourself up and saying like, oh my God, my life is a shambles, I suck. Like, no, you don't suck. You making choices. And I have the power to make choices. I have the power over my own faculties. I have the power over my own time, over my own resources to say, I want these results. And this is where I'm going. This is where I'm headed. So wherever I focus, that's where the win is. And that's really, what we observe in this last 10 days. The place where I focused, I got real results. And the places where I didn't focus, there could be more, favorable results when I focus there. And so that's what I intend to do. So this is where we get into the opportunity. It's funny to see where your focus goes and see how you can close the gap, because where I see like, oh, okay, I put all this focus in here in these last, 10 days, but that means the focus didn't go here. Now, when I put that focus and I shift it over there, and it's literally all in a spreadsheet. And so like it's a very simple, easy to use spreadsheet. It's like, okay, when I put the focus over there, I will expect some favorable results over there over a period of time. And that's where you close the gap. So my first thing that I'm doing, because we're at the beginning of a new 100-day period, another quest, I'm going to focus my attention on like listening to God and absorbing what he's saying to me and then writing the vision. We all are familiar with Habakkuk, I don't know how to say it, 2:2. But really, it starts at 2:1, where they go up to the watchtower and it's like, let me listen first, listen to God. Then I'm going to write the vision and make it plain. I'm going to write the vision based on what God tells me. Sometimes we just get away from ourselves and we just, going on our own thing. But when you listen to God first, that's when you get the real deal. And then I'm gonna break it down and make it plain to myself. So by mid-September, which is gonna be the end of this next quest, so we're starting June 11th starts the beginning of the next quest. So in 100 days, we will land somewhere in mid-September. We're going to have had a great summer. Our family is going to be taken care of. I'll be taken care of. I'm going to have created some content. I will connect it with some people. I've been using my tools better. I will learn even better things. And I'm excited for that. It's an opportunity to just be more amazing. And this is the next experiment. The next experiment for me is like not being so hard on myself. One of the things that I recognized is, when I didn't have these things in place, like day stride check-in, and I didn't have things in place like me writing things down the way they happen, I would mistakenly beat myself up that I wasn't capable of getting real results. And I recognize now that that's not the case. It's just where my focus goes, where it's belongs in this time period. And so the next experiment, I'm just on my fitness and self-care because the other things are in place. We're going to keep nurturing those projects, but right now I need to focus on my fitness and self-care. And that's where the gap is. And then I'm not going to push myself, but I'm just going to show up. I'm going to work the strategy. Another thing that I was thinking about, and I think I mentioned it earlier, is that sometimes I take that extra hour or so of sleep when my son is asleep because I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to sleep when he's awake. So this is my opportunity. This is my time to get some rest. But I think I can push on that a little bit and maybe get one less hour of sleep. We're gonna see how it goes. It's an experiment. We're gonna see how it goes over this next few days, and then we'll see. But 1 hour less sleep will allow me to focus and to go into my workout space and really, do a little bit of a workout, and just care for myself while he's still asleep, do my devotionals, whatever I can get in that hour. And then, we'll see what happens. Everything is just an experiment. I'm not beating myself up. I'm just going with what works, and we're going to see what works because we're experimenting. But yeah, so that's where we are, guys. I'm so glad you're joining me for this check-in. If you are not familiar with, any of these things or like what a check-in is, check the description, download the free Stride check-in and check in with me in the next 10 days. We're going to do this next 100 days together. We're going to get what we want out of our lives, and we're going to show up and we're going to be present, and we're going to have a good time. Like, why not? You know what I'm saying? So I wish y'all the best, all the love and the grace that I hope you give yourselves, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.